Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome to this new episode of Sudan in Focus weekly news magazine, which focuses on Sudan news and events, aims to give the Sudan TV audience a broad and first-hand information about what is going on in Sudan. So let's go.
Sudan National Television broadcast on Saturday night a documentary film titled Tracing the Paths of the Failed Al-Dagalo Militia Coup and Its War on the People of Sudan, which provides new evidence that the terrorist Al-Dagalo militia started the war in Sudan through a military coup. National television broadcast CCTV footage showing the advisor of RSF leader Ezzat al-Mari, who came to television to read the coup statements. But the engineer summoned by the militia failed to turn on the television to broadcast the statement. The chairman of the Sovereign Council, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, praised the struggles of the 18th Kosti Infantry Division in supporting the battle of dignity against the rebel terrorist Rapid Support Militia, pointing to their sacrifices in all axes of operations. This came during his visit on Thursday to command the 18th Kosti Infantry Division in White Nile State. Burhan said in his speech to officers, non-commissioned officers and soldiers of the division that the armed forces are continuing their battle against this rebel militia. He pointed out that what happened yesterday in Wad al-Nura and in other areas in El Geneina, Nyala and Khartoum will not go unnoticed. He said our message to progress Rude will not rule this country and we are in it, stressing that anyone who puts his hand with the militia will not have a future in this country, and said that he made it clear that the coordination of civil forces Democratic, Takatum, is complicit with the rebellion and agrees with him to kill the Sudanese people. He said that we were confident that the army would triumph over this rebel militia and added that we answered to stand with the people until the last drop of blood. Al-Burhan stressed that he will not rest until the end of the enemy and its complete elimination. President of the Transitional Sovereignty Council, TSC, and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, praised the tremendous efforts made by the employees of the Sudan Radio and Television Public Corporation in delivering the media message to public opinion. This came during his visit Wednesday to the television headquarters in Port Sudan, where he was received by the director of the Sudan Radio and Television Public Corporation, Ibrahim al-Bazai, and a number of its leaders. His Excellency got acquainted with the great work being done by the corporation's employees in light of the current circumstances that the country is going through, praising their patience and perseverance in covering events and providing real information to public opinion with all integrity and transparency, pointing to the important roles that the media plays in shaping public opinion and conveying facts clearly and transparently. TSC President has directives to overcome all obstacles and solve the problems facing the corporation so that it can fully carry out its assigned role. Vice President of the Transitional Sovereignty Council, TSC, Commander Malik Agar, stressed Sudan's keenness to strengthen, promote, and develop bilateral relations with Russia in all strategic, political, and economic fields. During a meeting in St. Petersburg on Friday, His Excellency briefed Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, in the presence of the Ministers of Foreign Affairs, Finance and Minerals and the Sudan Ambassador to Russia, on the situation in Sudan, developments in theaters of military operations, and the government's vision on stabilizing the situation and establishing peace. His Excellency expressed his hope for Russia's support for Sudan in the reconstruction stage, pointing out that the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum is a good opportunity for companies and economic institutions to work in Sudan. Commander Agar affirmed Sudan's readiness to revitalize the joint agreements and committees between the two countries, particularly the Political Consultation Committee, the Joint Ministerial Committee, and the Military Committee, to develop plans and programs and draw a clear road map to develop action to end up with the stage of strategic partnership. Vice President of the Transitional Sovereignty Council handed over a written message from the President of the Transitional Sovereignty Council, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, to Russian President Vladimir Putin, who assigned his foreign minister to receive the message for urgent reasons that prevented him from meeting with the TSC vice president. A member of the Transitional Sovereignty Council, Deputy Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Shams al-Din Kabashi, returned to the country on Friday after African tour that included Mali and Niger, during which he was accompanied by Defense Minister Lieutenant General Yassin Ibrahim. During the visit, His Excellency met with the presidents of the two countries and discussed with them the common files, the current political situation, the repercussions of the war and its impact on the regional and international environment. He was received at Port Sudan International Airport by the Minister of Agriculture and Forestry, Dr. Abu Bakr Omar al-Bushra, and the Secretary-General of the Sovereignty Council, Lieutenant General Mohammed al-Ghali. Member of the Transitional Sovereignty Council, TSC, and Assistant Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, General Yasser Abdulrahman Hassan al-Atta, paid an inspection visit to the Martyr Osman Makawi Military Media Center in Karari, accompanied by members of the Mobile Command to support the operations of the General Command in the War of Dignity. His Excellency and the accompanying delegation were briefed on the progress of the center through its various media activities in the area. His Excellency emphasized that the battle is primarily a media battle, appreciating the sincere efforts of the media professionals and thanking them for their strive. His Excellency pointed out that the center carried profound connotations by naming it after the martyr Osman Makawi, enumerating his exploits, praying to Almighty Allah to accept all those killed in battle as martyrs. Large demonstrations took place today in London on Saturday in front of the British Prime Minister's office, condemning the war and demanding the prosecution of the perpetrators of genocide and ethnic cleansing practiced by the rebel Rapid Support Militia against citizens. The processions passed in front of the Royal Palace to the UAE Embassy, demanding that the UAE stop supporting the rebellion with arms and other logistical supplies. In the French city of Toulouse, the Sudanese organized a protest condemning the massacres committed by the rebel Rapid Support Militias against Sudanese citizens. In addition, the masses of Sudanese in Switzerland called for a protest on the 29th of June, in front of the Swiss Parliament Square in Bern, and the call for the vigil comes in a sincere patriotic spirit and for those who are exposed to the most heinous types of crimes of murder, rape and demographic change.
The Republic of the Sudan. Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Office of Spokesperson and Media Directorate. Press Statement. The brutal massacre committed by the terrorist Janjaweed militia in the village of Wad al-Noura in Al-Ghazira state, on Wednesday, June 5, 2024, which claimed the lives of more than 180 defenseless villagers, including children and women, represents one of the repercussions of the international community's inaction towards the criminal militia, its foreign mercenaries, and regional sponsors whom the international community has been passively watching as they continue to supply the militia with lethal and advanced weapons through an extended air bridge from the UAE to Chad for more than a year. The brutality of the massacre surpasses the worst crimes of the internationally known terrorist groups such as ISIS, Boko Haram, and the LRA. Furthermore, the militia is employing the same tactics used by the death squads during Rwanda genocide, 1994. This is manifested by militia's targeting of civilians fleeing its ongoing assault on El Fasher on ethnic basis. The government of Sudan, therefore, demands that this massacre be a turning point in the way the international community views the militia. It is high time the militia has been determined a terrorist group that represents a threat to the entire humanity. This entails that all governments, international and regional institutions treat the militia, its leaders, members, sponsors, supporters,
and apologists in the same way that ISIS, Boko Haram, and the rest of the terrorist organizations and their supporters are treated. Therefore, any contact with this savage militia by countries, officials of regional or international organizations, claiming to be keen on peace in Sudan, will no longer be understood or accepted, whatever the justifications.
Senganib Marine National Park is a coral reef on the Red Sea. The park is renowned for its coral reefs, which are said to be the best in the world. Senganib is 25 kilometers off the shoreline of Sudan. The park comprises two areas, the Senganib itself, which is the coral reef structure, and Dunganab Bay and Mukhawar Island, which is 125 kilometers north of Port Sudan. The site includes coral reefs, mangroves, beaches, seagrass beds, and islets. The island has rich marine biodiversity with different types and sizes of seaweeds and various types of fish and marine animals, vertebrate and mollusk. The island is home to more than 300 types of different fish, including rare fish, 3 types of sharks, and visited from time to time by the whale of Abu Alam and dolphins. It also hosts a group of sea turtles and other types of invertebrates and many types of marine creatures. Senganib registered on the World Heritage List. The area of interest in tourism increased as a basic economic source and attracting hard currencies that for visitors and tourist activities in Port Sudan. Senganib is the first national park to be gazetted in Sudan, which happened in 1990. The lighthouse is 50 meters tall, has 268 steps, and is a highly photographed landmark. It's also best place for the tourists to view all the beauty of the Senganib. The national park has over 120 coral reefs and spans 26,000 hectares, located 30 kilometers northeast of Port Sudan. Senganib is surrounded by water that reaches a depth of 800 meters. The reef is the deepest in its north part, where it reaches 48 meters. Surface temperature are between 26.2 degree and 30 degree. Senganib is one of the most charming places. Senganib's ecosystem is home to a wide variety of flora and fauna. Senganib attracts tourists from the far and wide, which is a source of revenue to the Sudanese government. It's world famous, and its coral reefs are to be the best and most unspoiled in the world. The Senganib Atoll is especially popular during international diving holidays. Tourists fly to Port Sudan and raised on large hotel boats which travel to anchor at various diving sites on the reef for a few days at a time. In July 2016, the Senganib Marine National Park was added to the National World Heritage Site by UNESCO, a decision made by the World Heritage Committee in Istanbul, Turkey. So Sudan is full of potentialities and is a country of opportunities.
General Ibrahim, first of all, thank you so much. This terrible war, is there a military solution?
This war was started by attacking an aggressive attacking of all the headquarters of military divisions in Sudan in 18 states. And the issue is to control the Sudanese army by the militia of the Rapid Force. When this failed in the first few hours and start pulling out the Sudanese civilian people from their house.
What I'm asking is, how will this war come to an end? Will it come to an end on the battlefield, or will it come to an end at the negotiating table?
We have been to Jeddah and we have agreed and we signed Jeddah agreement. So we're waiting for implementing Jeddah agreement.
I think there's some concern because obviously you're getting this support with the drones from Iran and also from Egypt, which is a traditional ally. And on the other hand, we see the United Arab Emirates supporting the rapid support forces. So there is concern that this is blowing up into a regional war.
Sudan has the resources and capabilities for producing arms long time ago. This is number one. And secondly, for the Sudan as a country to get the weapons, especially the traditional ones, is not that you must have a certain relation with. It is a business first. Second, for the Emirates, yes, they are funding the militia with arms and supporting them. So this is the only way that the militia now is trying to attack.
Have you tried speaking to the United Arab Emirates about why they are supporting RSF, trying to persuade them not to, and so on?
Yes, we spoke to them through some people and through some countries, but their answer is that just because they have a free trade area, so anybody can get weapons and transferring them to whatever he like or to the country that requires.
Tell me about what's happening in Al Fasher, because there's a lot of concern that the army controls Al Fasher, but the RSF is attacking every day at the moment.
Same as I told you, what happened in other cities now is repeatedly in Al Fasher happening nowadays. They gather their mercenaries and all their supporters from different parts, and now they are surrounding Al Fasher, shelling Al Fasher. Our main concern in Al Fasher is that Al Fasher is now a home for all the Darfurians in different states, whom they are now living as IDPs in Al Fasher.
What about the humanitarian situation? Because there is a great deal of concern with the UN and with other people about hunger in Sudan, with all of these displaced people caused by this war.
So I'm going to assure to you that Sudan cannot face hunger. This is just, take it from me. Because we have very great crops produced during the last 2 seasons and now have enough stocks. But the problem is, which is facing us, is the distribution to the areas under the militia. Now, because we are in need of also humanitarian aid from the international community, we facilitate the borders, cross borders.
Yeah, but you stopped food. Come on, I was in chat. You stopped food from crossing the border.
Since last year that we have facilitation of all the humanitarian aid that will be brought to Sudan. And we give them all the things, and still we are helping them.
Are you fighting for army control or for a civilian government in Sudan?
Our interest since day one, 2019, is that we have a transitional period with a PM, civilian PM, to run the country, safeguard the needs for the people.
And then you launched a coup against it.
No coup.
Well, there was a coup. 2021, there was a coup.
This is. I'm going to give you all the answers to your questions. Yeah? Do you think that this is a normal time for us to establish civilian government or do elections? That is why we are working to stop the war. Then appoint the transitional government, then it will carry the elections, and these elections, it will it will be very transparent, and we ask all the organizations to participate in them, then let the people to select the PM for the future.
How long before this war ends? The worry is that
maximum, very short time, in a very short time, we're working on that.
Thank you very much, General.
Free Sudan, free Sudan. Free Sudan, free Sudan. Stop the crime in Sudan. Stop the crime in Sudan.
Atrocities that committed by Rapid Support Forces, which committed all these heinous crimes against Sudanese people. We are here to condemn also the support that has been given from United Arab Emirates in terms of money, in terms of arms to support Rapid Support Forces. So we are here to condemn all atrocities, all the crime that committed by Rapid Support Forces. We're here to ask the British government, we're here to ask the British Foreign Minister to condemn all the atrocities that happened in the 5th of this week. So, yes, 6th of June, the UAE committed terrorist attacks on the village of Wad Nur, and they have been killing they have been killing more than 104 people. I have been informed that now the number has been raised for 200 people. We expect from the UK Foreign Office to take his responsibility to condemn for these acts of crime and atrocities that has been committed by Rapid Support Forces. We urge the British government to take the lead as the pen holder of United Nations. We ask them to have an immediate call at UK Security Council to condemn these atrocities and to call UAE to stop funding and supporting these terrorist group with money, with arms, and with all the support that has been given. So we expect also the United Kingdom government to act as same as the US State Department. What they did, they called the UAE, the support Rapid Forces as the terrorist group. What we want from this government, what we want from the foreign minister, to come and call this, just not tweeting. Tweet of issues is not, we are not expecting David Cameron to just come and tweet. So we have more than 200 people killed in 3 hours.
Stop the crime in Sudan. Stop the crime in Sudan. Free Sudan, free Sudan. Free Sudan, free Sudan. RSF to ICC. RSF to ICC. MND to ICC. Protest to express the systematic violation supported by the UAE, which are openly known by everyone, to commit repeated acts of genocide in Darfur and in whole Sudan. We are here today to voice our unanimous rejections of the violation by the Janjaweed militia in Sudan and Darfur, and to condemn the UAE support for these heinous crimes. We are witnessing horrific crimes, including genocide, being systematically committed daily against innocent civilians in Darfur and in Sudan.
We are witnessing horrific crimes, including genocide, being systematically committed daily against innocent civilians in Darfur and Sudan, as was the case in this week in the village of Wadnoura in Al Jazeera, which led to the systematic killing of more than 150 innocent civilians. These atrocities has witnessed by Human Rights Watch and other NGOs. These are lives being lost, women being raped, children being orphaned, and families being displaced. We are here to give voice to all these innocent people who cannot defend themselves and their basic human rights. Today, we sent a clear message to the international community. Silence and complicity are not acceptable options. We demand that the international community take firm stance against the violation of international law by the UAE and hold accountable all those involved in these crimes against humanity. We demand urgent humanitarian aid for more than 3 million civilians suffering from lack of food and water in Darfur, Sudan, and in the neighboring countries. These numbers reveal the scale of the humanitarian catastrophe we are experiencing and underscore the urgent need for the immediate action. We are here today to send a clear message to all those who support the Janjaweed. We will not stand idly by while innocent lives are lost. We will not remain silent in the face of genocide crimes. We will continue our struggle until justice is achieved and until every person involved in these crimes is held accountable. We thank everyone who joined us today and on everyone to continue the struggle and participate in all upcoming events until we achieve justice for our people in Darfur and throughout Sudan.
Stop the war in Sudan! Stop the war in Sudan! Free Sudan!
Sudanese cuisine is very distinguished in Sudan. Meals are eaten around a large tray with the family members and anyone else. So, the Sudanese people are very hospitable by nature and food is usually eaten with the right hand. Food in Sudan is diverse, just like their geography, culture, tradition. The central region of Sudan is considered the most diverse and colorful. Mulukhia, or in Sudanese colloquial language call it khudra. It is one of the favorite meals of the Sudanese people. It is chopped and spread in the shade in a well-ventilated place until it dries and then cooked. Sudanese porridge meal, it consists of flour, milk, a cup of water and salt, and is left in the fire until it thickens. Kisra is a type of bread or loaf made of corn, and it's one of the popular meals in Sudan. Weka is a famous Sudanese meal that is prepared from dried okra and is ground until it becomes flour. It has natural or nutrition value as it provides the body with energy without gaining weight, replaces mineral salt in the body and has beautiful taste. Nutrition. Sudanese cuisine is known for its many and varied meals due to the diversity of its ethnic, cultural, and geographical component. Sudanese meals are famous for their special taste that differs from other people's meals.
وقف الجيش كرب ربط القاش سميح ودقش الهيج سرب.
وقعت رب وقف الجيش كرب ربط القاش سميح ودقش الهيج سرب.
يا عيالهم كفاف اللي تورط ونهب
ربط القاش سميح ودقش الهيج سرب.
السوى الكمين والشرك نصب
ربط القاش سميح ودقش الهيج سرب.
يا عيالهم كفاف اللي تورط ونهب
ربط القاش سميح ودقش الهيج سرب.
السوى الكمين والشرك نصب من دقدق العيش وشوف وشين كعب.
وقعت رب وقف الجيش كرب ربط القاش سميح ودقش الهيج سرب.
أمن الحدود درس وحبس حكى سار الليل بلا حلة وكبس. أمن الحدود درس وحبس حكى سار الليل بلا حلة وكبس. لا يم يابس واخضر الطاير كنس.
وقعت رب وقف الجيش كرب ربط القاش سميح ودقش الهيج سرب.
مرفعين الليل قابلوا الخبر شون عدد مون وسير طوف دفر. مرفعين الليل قابلوا الخبر شون عدد مون وسير طوف دفر. كتيبة واسي قش تعدي النفر.
وقعت رب وقف الجيش كرب ربط القاش سميح ودقش الهيج سرب.
بالسلم نحن من لما بشر ملاك في الحرب نحن بلوى الله لا وراك. في السلم نحن من لما بشر ملاك في الحرب نحن بلوى الله لا وراك. نرقص صقري نعرض عز اللي اشتباك.
وقعت رب وقف الجيش كرب ربط القاش سميح ودقش الهيج سرب.
اوهو يا ولاد هنا يدر عليكم جاي يمين تندفنوا فيها ونسمع الروراي. هو يا ولاد هنا يدر عليكم جاي يمين تندفنوا فيها ونسمع الروراي. ما سايبة هم لا صبر ولا نساي.
وقعت رب وقف الجيش كرب ربط القاش سميح ودقش الهيج سرب.
ما وقعت الرب وقف الجيش كرب ربط القاش سميح ودقش الهيج سرب.
وقعت